Good morning. I want to start with something that might surprise you because it contradicts almost everything you've been told about getting older. For years, the standard advice for adults past 75 has been simple: slow down, take it easy, expect to lose a little more independence every year. But that advice isn't keeping people independent, it's accelerating decline. I'm Dr. Marcus, and what I want to share with you today isn't a supplement, a medication, or anything your doctor is likely to bring up in a 15-minute appointment. It's 6 specific daily habits, each backed by real published research, that separate the seniors who are still driving themselves to appointments, still gardening, still living fully independent lives at 80, 85 and beyond, from the ones who aren't. These aren't complicated. None of them require a gym membership or an expensive program. But I want to be honest with you about something before we start. The habit at the very top of this list, the one with the strongest research behind it, for protecting your independence after 75, is something almost nobody talks about. It has nothing to do with diet, and almost nothing to do with traditional exercise. Stay with me to the end, because that one might be the most important 5 minutes of this entire video. But first, I want to ask you something. Drop your age in the comments below right now, whether you're 68, 76, 84, or anywhere in between, and tell me honestly which of these 6 habits you already have locked in. I read every comment on this channel, and I want to hear from you. Let's start at number 6 and count down. Number 6. Strategic hydration, not just casual drinking. Here's what most people get wrong after 75. They assume their body handles water the same way it did at 50. It doesn't. As you age, your kidneys become less efficient at conserving sodium, and your thirst signal weakens significantly, which means you can become mildly dehydrated without ever feeling thirsty. This matters more than most people realize. Published research has linked even mild chronic sodium and fluid imbalance in older adults to immeasurably higher risk of falls, unsteadiness, and attention problems. A separate population-based study found that older adults with chronically low blood sodium levels had a significantly higher long-term risk of being diagnosed with dementia. Think of your bloodstream like a delivery system for your brain and muscles. When fluid and electrolyte balance drops even slightly, that delivery system slows down, and every organ that depends on it, especially your brain, feels it first. The seniors who do this well don't just sip water occasionally. They drink a full glass first thing in the morning, before coffee, because the body loses fluid overnight through breathing alone. They have water with every meal, and a small amount, paired with a pinch of sea salt or an electrolyte tablet, because plain water without any sodium can pass through an aging kidney without being properly absorbed into the cells that actually need it. Number 5. Resistance-based movement at least twice a week. I want to clear up a major misunderstanding here. I am not talking about heavy weightlifting at a gym. I'm talking about any movement that makes your muscles work against resistance, a resistance band, a light dumbbell, a wall push-up, even carrying your own groceries with intention. Here's why this matters so much after 75. Your aging muscles become less responsive to the normal signals that build and maintain strength, a process researchers call anabolic resistance. In practical terms, it means your body now needs more deliberate stimulus to hold on to the muscle you have. If that stimulus doesn't happen, you begin losing muscle mass and strength, a condition called sarcopenia. A recent meta-analysis combining more than 20 randomized controlled trials in older adults found that structured resistance training significantly improved grip strength, walking speed, and balance measures like the timed up-and-go test, all of which are directly tied to fall risk and independent living. The prescription is simple: 2 to 3 sessions a week, 20 to 30 minutes each, focused on your legs, hips, and back. Resistance bands are ideal because they build strength without putting stress on aging joints. And here's the synergy tip. Try to eat a source of protein within about 30 minutes after your session, because your muscles are most receptive to using that protein for repair in that window. Number 4. A consistent protected sleep schedule. Before I go further, if this information is genuinely useful to you, take 1 second and hit that subscribe button. And if you know someone between 70 and 90 who needs to hear this, send them this video. This channel exists to bring you research that most medical appointments simply don't have time to cover. Now, back to sleep, because this is more complicated than just going to bed earlier. After 75, your circadian rhythm weakens. Your deep restorative sleep decreases substantially. And that deep sleep stage is when your brain does critical maintenance work, including clearing out a protein called amyloid, which is associated with Alzheimer's disease. A large study following more than 4,000 cognitively healthy older adults found that every additional hour of nighttime sleep was linked to lower amyloid buildup in the brain, while daytime napping in place of nighttime sleep was linked to more amyloid accumulation in key brain regions. In other words, your brain doesn't just want more sleep, it wants consistent nighttime deep sleep. Specifically, the seniors who protect this go to bed within the same 30-minute window every night, wake at the same time every morning, including weekends, and keep their bedroom cool, somewhere around 65 to 68 degrees, because body temperature regulation during sleep becomes less efficient with age. The synergy tip: pair this with 10 minutes of slow, deep breathing before bed. It activates your body's rest and repair nervous system response, making it easier to actually reach that deep sleep stage your brain depends on. Number 3. Eating protein in a deliberate, spread-out pattern. This is where I see one of the most damaging misconceptions in senior nutrition, and it concerns me deeply as a physician. The idea that you need less protein as you age is not just outdated, it may be actively harmful. The truth is the opposite. Because of that anabolic resistance I mentioned earlier, your body needs more protein per pound after 75 to maintain the same muscle you had at 50, not less. Research has shown that older adults who consume at least 1.2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight daily, spread across 3 or more meals rather than concentrated in one, maintain significantly more muscle mass, and have a meaningfully lower risk of frailty and fall-related complications. Think of protein as the literal building material your body uses to repair itself every single night while you sleep. Without enough of it spread consistently through the day, that nightly repair work runs short on materials. The practical target is roughly 25 to 35 grams of protein at each main meal, about 4 to 5 ounces of chicken, fish, eggs, Greek yogurt, or legumes. The synergy tip here: pair your protein with a small source of vitamin C, like citrus or bell pepper, because vitamin C supports the collagen synthesis your body needs to maintain not just muscle, but joints and connective tissue too. Number 2. Daily, intentional social engagement. I told you earlier that one habit on this list would surprise you, and this is it, because it sounds too soft to be a real medical recommendation. It isn't. A large meta-analysis, combining data from dozens of long-term studies on older adults, found that social isolation was associated with a 35% higher risk of death from any cause, loneliness with a 14% higher risk, and living alone with a 21% higher risk, even after accounting for other health factors. Separately, researchers have found that persistent loneliness is associated with a meaningfully higher risk of developing dementia. Here's the mechanism. Genuine, engaged social interaction, real conversation, shared laughter, disagreement, connection activates the same neural pathways responsible for memory and decision-making. When those pathways go quiet for too long, they begin to weaken. Passive social contact, like sitting in the same room as the television on, does not count. The prescription is one genuinely engaged social interaction every day. A phone call where you're actually present, a regular visit with a neighbor, a weekly group activity. The synergy tip: combine social time with light movement whenever you can. A walk with a friend, gardening with a neighbor, because that combination appears to amplify the brain benefits of both. And now, number 1. The habit that the research suggests may matter more for protecting your independence after 75 than almost anything else on this list, and it has nothing to do with crossword puzzles. I'm talking about daily, deliberate cognitive challenge, learning something genuinely new, a language, an instrument, a skill you've never tried, something that forces your brain slightly outside its comfort zone. Here's why this one is different from passive activities like reading or puzzles you've already mastered. After 75, your brain naturally starts favoring familiar, well-worn neural pathways because that's metabolically efficient. But that same preference for the familiar is exactly what allows what researchers call cognitive reserve, your brain's buffer against age-related decline, to erode. One of the clearest examples in the research comes from studies on bilingualism. People who actively use two languages throughout life, or who take up a new language later in life, have been shown in multiple studies and meta-analyses to develop dementia symptoms an average of 4 to 5 years later than people who don't, even when their underlying brain changes are similar. That's not a small effect. That's years of additional independence. Learning an instrument engages memory, fine motor control, and emotional processing simultaneously in a way few other activities do. Even learning to cook an unfamiliar cuisine counts, because it demands sequencing, attention, and motor skill all at once. The key word is active. Watching someone else play piano on a video is not the same as struggling through a chord progression yourself. That struggle, that productive discomfort, is where the benefit actually lives. The practical approach. Pick one genuinely new skill, commit to 20 to 30 minutes of active practice daily, and give it 3 to 4 months before moving to the next one. The synergy tip: pair this with omega-3 rich foods like salmon, mackerel, or sardines, since DHA is a primary structural fat in brain cell membranes and may help support the brain's ability to adapt to new learning. All research referenced in this video is available for you to look into further, and I'd encourage you to bring it up with your own doctor. I want to close with something I believe deeply. The years after 75 are too often treated as a slow countdown. They don't have to be. The body and mind at 75, 80, even 85 retain a real documented capacity to adapt and strengthen, not despite your age, but working with it. These 6 habits: strategic hydration, resistance movement, protected sleep, deliberate protein intake, daily connection, and genuine cognitive challenge, aren't about turning back the clock. They're about making the absolute most of the time still ahead. If this video gave you something worth knowing, subscribe to this channel, turn on notifications, and I'll see you in the next one. And before you go, tell me in the comments, which of these 6 habits do you already have, and which one are you going to start this week? I read every single one. Take care of yourself. You're worth the effort.